Now that 4 of our 7 hens have started actively laying eggs, I thought it would be a good idea to do a longer video about our experience so far with our hens now that they've been laying eggs. Let's see. So we got our chickens about 3.5 months ago. They were 8 weeks old, and at that age they are called pullets. So they are not fully mature laying hens. However, they are old enough to survive outside of a brooder, be in a chicken coop in a chicken run. They don't need any sort of artificial heat or special care like younger chicks do. We did this for a couple of reasons. One being that there is a 10% chance that you may get a rooster if you get younger chicks. They do their best to figure out what's male and what's female, but there is the chance that you could get a rooster and not a hen. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but is something that we were trying to avoid. The other thing is that we just didn't really have the bandwidth to be taking care of chicks inside the home with heaters and all that sort of stuff. We had a very high needs senior doggy at the time, and we just really wanted to be able to get our little hens out into the chicken coop, which was all ready to go, and just thought that would be the best plan for us. And it worked out very well. Another reason why people like to get chicks at a younger age or even hatch their own eggs is this way they're kind of more like pets. They get to know your voice, they get to, they're interacting with you from a very young age. They recognize that you are their source of protection and food, and so they'll be a little bit more amenable to being picked up and handled. And our hens are getting used to that, but certainly there are some that are more skittish than others who get really upset if we try to pick them up, and some that are more into it. So it's fine. It's just taking a little bit more time to get them warmed up. So typically hens will start laying at around 18 to 22 weeks, and this was the case in our situation. Rosie was the first hen to lay an egg, and she actually her first egg was huge. She was about 20 weeks old, and it was a double yolker. It had 2 yolks. So we were very excited when she laid this giant egg, and when we cracked it open and found 2 yolks, we were just kind of beside ourselves. We couldn't believe it, and also for her, that's a pretty huge accomplishment. We scrambled it up, we ate it, it was delicious, and since then she has laid almost 1 egg a day. I think maybe there have been the maximum maybe 3 days that she hasn't laid, so she's been pretty consistent. Her eggs are large, they're wonderful, they make really great hard-boiled eggs. And then a couple of weeks later, this was maybe 2 weeks ago, 2 more of our hens started laying on the same day, Punky and Lola. Punky is our gold-kissed granite olive egger, and she lays the beautiful olive green eggs, and they vary in color, which is pretty cool. Sometimes they're a darker green, sometimes they're a more lighter minty green, and they are smaller than Rosie's, but they're larger than Lola's. Lola is one of our 2 buff Orpingtons, and her eggs are really sweet. They're pointy, they're kind of this peachy color, and it's just been really fun every day. And again, they've been laying eggs every day consistently too. So we've been getting a pretty good amount of eggs so far for the past couple of weeks. 2 days ago, Lulu, and we call her Lola's sister, she's our second buff Orpington, she started laying as well, and her eggs are the smallest of the bunch. And this is typical. Oftentimes the first round of eggs that a hen lays are smaller, and they increase in size during time depending on their breed. The other thing that we've noticed is the eggs that are first being laid, the shells are not quite as tough, so when you crack them you have to work a little bit harder to crack them. This also should improve in time. We also are giving them oyster shells, which is a form of calcium, which will help to strengthen the eggshells and increase and improve egg production. So it's been pretty fun so far. At this point, we are getting almost 28 eggs per week, which is certainly more than we can eat on our own. So we've started to give them to friends and family, which has been really great. I think that if you do the math, which I haven't really done, they say, depending on the amount of chickens you have, you're probably not going to be saving that much money by not having to buy the eggs at the store, but the trade-off is having the whole experience of raising chickens, having your own fresh eggs every day, being able to share them with friends and family. It's not about, saving money. It's just about the whole experience, which has been great. Another thing that is important to talk about is the handling of the fresh eggs. Some people like to wash them right away. They feel like it's more sanitary, and in some cases it may be. If an egg is particularly dirty, like it has poop on it or dirt or something like that, if it's really bad, you might just not want to use it. Otherwise, you can just kind of rub it off lightly to get the debris. But typically, and what we've been doing is not washing them until we are going to use them. The reason being is when an egg is laid, it has a protective coating called a bloom, and this helps to protect from bacteria and just anything else getting from outside the shell into the actual egg. So we just rinse our eggs off with some warm water before we use them, and everything's been fine so far. We've been storing them in the refrigerator as well. It's not necessary to refrigerate them right away. You can do some research on your own, but I've heard that eggs can last on the counter unwashed for several months, and that is prolonged a little bit more in the refrigerator unwashed. So that's what we've been doing. That's what I would recommend doing. It's been working out great. So come with me now. I am going to show you the different eggs and different sizes from all of our different girls. We are anxiously awaiting the next little hen to be laying. It's been pretty cool so far knowing who's doing what. I'm wondering if we will be able to identify everyone's eggs at a certain point. But we are particularly curious to find out about Penelope's eggs. She is the Sicilian buttercup. She's the smallest. She's the one who has kind of the green-blue legs. So we've heard that their eggs are on the smaller side because they are smaller. We also have a Rhode Island Red, a Lavender Orpington as well. So we've got 3 more ladies to start laying, 4 that are laying currently, and that's the story so far. Okay, let's check out some of these eggs that our sweet hens are laying. These are some nice little half-dozen egg cartons that we ordered, and we've been using these to give them to our friends and family. Let's start out with our largest egg. This is from Rosie. Her eggs are a really nice light brown. As I said, the shells are very sturdy. They're really good for hard-boiled eggs, and they are a really nice size. Next, we have Punky's egg. She is our gold-kissed granite olive egger. Her eggs are second largest in size and vary in color. They're always green, but sometimes they're lighter, sometimes they're darker. You can see that one in comparison to Rosie's. Next, we have Lola. She is our third hen to lay. She is our Buff Orpington, one of our 2. Her eggs so far have been a little bit longer and pointier, and this really pretty sort of peachy light pink color. Actually, that one is about the same size as Punky's, or maybe a little bit bigger, which is surprising. Her eggs are getting bigger pretty fast. Hers have been typically smaller. Our last one, this is Lulu's egg. She is the most recent hen to be laying. This is the first egg she's laid. She laid her second one today. So her eggs are a little bit darker than her sister Lola's, and also on the smaller side. You can see in comparison, just a little bit smaller. So there you have it. It's been really fun having all these beautiful eggs. Thought it might also be interesting to talk a little bit more about egg production and the actual laying of the eggs. So we were fairly certain that Rosie, who was our first hen to lay eggs, was getting ready to lay because she was making a lot of noise. We noticed that she was going into the chicken coop and hopping up into the nesting box, kind of hopping in and out, going in and out, seeming a little bit uncomfortable. Like we knew something was going to happen. So the day that this did happen and she laid her first egg, we were just kind of sitting outside and we observed her. She went in and out. She finally went in. She was in the nesting box for maybe about 15 minutes. She hopped out. She went out of the run, made a lot of squawking noises, and we checked in the nesting box, and lo and behold was her first egg. So chickens can produce 1 egg a day. It takes about 24 hours, the whole entire process, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. But the actual laying of the egg could be as little as 5 minutes. They could hop into the egg box and lay the egg, and that's it. So just some other interesting facts. During seasons like this where it's the high laying season, the temperatures are pretty nice. It's hot right now, but under normal kind of summery circumstances, they could lay up to 1 egg a day. As hens get older, their egg production starts to taper off and they don't lay as much during the winter months or the extreme heat. So we're actually thinking that the extreme heat that we're having is what is causing the delay in the other 3 of our hens to start laying, because they are certainly at the age where they could be laying eggs. So we'll see. Hopefully the temperatures are going to start to cool off a little bit more, and the rest of the hens will catch up. So pretty incredible process if you think about it, and just another reason to really appreciate our sweet little hens and all of the beautiful eggs that they are giving to us. Thanks again for joining me here at Deer Diary Country Life. We've got Lola and Rosie in the nesting box working on some eggs. Can't wait to see what they're going to leave for us. I'll see you soon.